What is up, YouTube? Coin Whisperer here, your source for crypto news, views, and reviews. And today we're just going to be talking about if you should be buying Bitcoin right now or if it's in a bubble. The only accurate way to do this is to look at the chart, so let's head over to TradingView. So as you can see from the Bitcoin chart, we've just been on a crazy bull run since basically the start of November with very few stops. Especially in the past couple of weeks, we've just seen crazy growth. Let's look from about 2 weeks ago. We've had over 100% growth. And now let's just look from this week, December 1st, to the high. About 75, almost 80% growth right there. And that is just crazy. Look at this, considering that that is about an $7,000 to $8,000 gain in price over a week. So averaging out to about $1,000 gain in price every day. Guys, that's just too much. I mean, I know Bitcoin's a disruptive technology and it's starting to get a lot more mainstream, but this kind of growth is just unsustainable right now. Especially when you consider that the price of one Bitcoin back at the beginning of 2017 was just $1,000, and now we're seeing that kind of price increase in a day. That's just too much, guys. Some people are trying to call us little, what was that? Some people are trying to call this little sell-off right here the correction. But if you just look at the RSI and the MACD, you can tell that this little thing was not a sell-off. As soon as people started selling, it just got bought right back up, and it's already starting to get back to its all-time highs and starting to test all-time highs again. So looking at that RSI, it was back at its all-time high. It was around, what, 85, 86. And that correction, it just brought it down to about 65. And now we're just kind of hanging out in that range, which is still a really high RSI and something you should be pretty scared of. And if you look at the MACD, the blue and red line didn't even, they barely touched. And they haven't even started to converge yet. So that definitely was not a sell-off. That was just, or sorry, that definitely was not a true correction. That was just a little sell-off. So the reason for this recent just crazy price explosion is a lot of it is due to Bitcoin futures being announced in the next couple days. And a lot of people think that that is just going to be a catalyst for the price to just explode again. And also, at least from my own personal experience, I've had a lot of friends who have been texting me and asking me like how to buy Bitcoin, where to buy Bitcoin, because they've just been watching Bitcoin go on this rampage over the past couple of months from like 5,000 to 10,000, now 15,000, and they're just tired of missing out. They just want to get in, which is honestly probably one of the worst things you can be doing right now, because this bull run is just too unsustainable, and I've actually been telling them that. Another big problem is, since a lot of people think that big investors are going to start coming in because of Bitcoin futures being released in the next couple of days, but the thing is, big money is not going to be wanting to buy up here. They're going to look at this chart just the way I'm looking at it right now and say, wow, this price is way too high. It's in the oversold category, and we're just going to wait for a correction. Because if somebody that was managing a fund was to buy at this price and and then after that, the price just corrects back down to $10,000, they could lose their job, because all the indicators are showing that this is not a sustainable price right now. And the way I see it, there's really two very probable possibilities that can happen with Bitcoin's price right now. The first one is that Bitcoin's going to start stabilizing for a couple days around this $15,000 mark, and then just shoot right back up, maybe hitting 19, possibly even $20,000 in price for one Bitcoin in a few days, once Bitcoin futures are actually released to the public. And while that might sound good, like, oh yay, Bitcoin's price going up, I'm making money, it's really not good for the long-term price of Bitcoin. Just think about it like this. Everything that goes up must eventually come down. So if we see another bull run from this price, when it corrects, it's going to correct hard, and people are going to be freaking out. Especially all these new investors that just got in around this range. Once they start losing money, they're just going to sell off their Bitcoin, get that bad taste in their mouth, and just probably stay away from Bitcoin for a while, or maybe even forever. And that's just really not good for the adoption of Bitcoin in the long term. The second possibility of what can happen with Bitcoin's price is there's going to be a true correction, kind of like what happened back in November, where you can see here from the RSI, it's about 80, and then went, which signals overbought territory. and slowly went down over about the course of a week to 25, which is right when you get that indicator that it's in the oversold category and it's probably time to be buying that dip. And the MACD also confirms that this was a true correction, because so you can see the MACD was positive and the histogram was oscillating, and then the MACD just plummets past zero and really hits that bottom around here, one of these extremes, and then the blue line crosses the red, which is another signal to be buying that dip, and it starts going back up and rebounds and then stabilizes back at its previous all-time highs. So that's what a true correction looks like, not this little sell-off we saw. And if history is to repeat itself, let's check how much Bitcoin actually lost. Bitcoin's price decreased in that little correction in November. It's about, here, let me get a better start from the very top to the very bottom. You can see about a 30% price decrease. So if Bitcoin was to experience another similar correction to that, we could see it going back down to that $11,500 range, which is actually coincides to a previous support/resistance level, which is perfect. Because if it was to reach this level, that really just would be a indicator that it's a good time to be buying this dip. Because if it can hold this support level, it proves that it's a solid buy. And if we experience a dip like that, that's really when you're going to start seeing the big money investors come in, because they know not to buy here. They're going to buy back when it dips down to this 11,500 mark, or possibly could even come down to this $9,000 mark where we've had the second previous support that we've had. And whether you like this big money, Wall Street money coming into Bitcoin, it's pretty hard to argue that it's not good just in terms of legitimizing Bitcoin as an asset and a store of value. And all this money coming in would really help with the liquidity of Bitcoin. And also, these big banks or big investment firms coming into Bitcoin would attract a lot more publicity, and that's just good publicity for Bitcoin, which is going to help it long term in its adoption. So now, for my personal opinion, what I actually think Bitcoin's price is going to do, I kind of think it's going to it's not going to correct like it should, because Bitcoin always does the opposite of what it should be doing. And it's kind of just going to stabilize around this $15,000 mark, and then once Bitcoin futures gets announced, it's probably going to go back up to $18,000, $19,000, $20,000, and that might make people happy in the short term because their portfolios are going up in USD price. But once the true correction kicks in, and we see probably at that point close to a 50% loss, people aren't going to be happy, and that's just going to be really detrimental to Bitcoin as a whole, because they're going to really dissuade a lot of people that are looking into Bitcoin to invest, because they're going to be like, wow, this is way too volatile. And all these new investors that got in here are just going to get really scared and sell and probably not come back. So if I was personally looking to buy Bitcoin right now, like I know a lot of new investors are, I know probably people don't want to hear this, but I would wait this out. I would wait at least a week and see what's going to happen with Bitcoin's price, because I would not be comfortable buying these all-time highs with this 65 level of RSI and the MACD all the way up here. This is just not a good buy-in spot. I'd really wait for a solid correction to add to my portfolio, and that's what a lot of the smart money is going to be doing, because once Bitcoin does correct, that's when the big money is going to start coming in, and that's when all the experienced investors or smart investors like me and you guys watching this video, that's when we're going to start buying the dip, and that's when we're really going to rejoice, because we know we're going to be buying Bitcoin at a good price. So that's just my own personal opinion. I hope you guys liked this short video. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful at all, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more cryptocurrency related content like this. And if you have any questions over what I covered, or you just want to give your own personal opinion, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. I just want to thank all my subscribers for the continued support. It really means a lot for me. So right now I'm pretty busy with finals coming up, and it's getting pretty hard to put out content, but you guys are really motivating me to push through and give you guys some video content. Well, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. Coin Whisperer signing out. Peace.